Welcome back to our series Working with Scribus. In this lecture, I'm going to talk to you about the color palettes in Scribus and how to change them. So if we start with a brand new document in Scribus and we go to the Edit menu, we can scroll down to Colors. And under Colors, a window will pop up that shows us which colors are currently installed. This is what's called here the Scribus Basic Colors. Now, in a future lecture, we're going to be discussing the different types of color wheels that are available to us. You see here two of the most important ones. The first here is symbolized by these four colors, and if you look carefully at what I'm highlighting right now, you will see C, M, Y, and K. And what that is the CMYK model, which is used for printing. And then we also have the RGB model, the red, green, blue model, which is used for colors that are going to be displayed on monitors or uh, iPhones or any kind of smartphone, any kind of screen, in other words. So that's all you really need to know at this point. We'll go into that in more detail in a future lecture. So as you can see, the preset colors in Scribus either are the CMYK model or the RGB model. And as you can see, we have already loaded the basic colors, a very limited number of colors I might point out. And then you also see this thing here, registration, which is built as a CMYK model, and you see that each one of the four colors is 100%. This is a um, this is a color type, let's put it that way, that is used for registration symbols such as registration marks, and they're used by printers to determine whether or not a print run has been successful. So that's all you really need to know about that. It appears black, as you'll see here. All right. Otherwise, these are the colors that we can currently use in Scribus. Now in this menu you can see that we have three options that we can currently select. The first is import. If I click on import, I can import a color palette or color wheel from another uh, product, or even just specific colors from another product. And if you look at the supported formats, you see the first type, that you can actually import colors from other Scribus documents. You also see you can import from EPS files, as well as from Adobe Illustrator, OpenOffice, GPL, which is GIMP. So we could import from those programs as well. I don't have any files to import right now, so I'm just going to close that. And what I will show you is how well, just briefly mention, you could also have removed unused colors. So if you don't have a color in your document if you have a color in your document that in the palette that's not being used in your document, you can remove that from here. We're going to leave that alone. What's important is new. How do we add more colors to this color wheel, which is pretty restricted? So we click on new, and that opens up our typical color map. Now, of course, we could just randomly pick colors here and give them names, but that wouldn't be very useful. Normally, what you want to do with the color wheel here, the color map, is you want to have very specific colors that have been predefined for you and give the exact number of the various for CMYK, the four percentages, or if you are going to the RGB model, you would get a number here from 0 to 255 in each of the three colors. Also note here this WebSafe RGB, that's actually a throwback from a previous time when wasn't colors on the internet were not as reliable as they are today. So for our purposes, we're going to ignore that. So let's go back to CMYK. Now what I want to do is I want to build or add to my palette the official colors of West Virginia State University. And perhaps not all of you know this already, but we have brand identification on our website. So if we go to the university's website and we go to About, and then go to the administration, click on the expand for administration, and then click on the expand for university relations and operations. We can then click on publications, design, photography, and printing. And then you see here this accordion label, West Virginia State University brand and graphic identity. If I click on that and then click on the printed or publish, or let's better yet, on the brand and graphic identity booklet, click on that. When I scroll down to what actually is now page 6, you will see the official colors of the university, and you'll see they're encoded in the CMYK format as well as in the RGB format, and they also are given a spot name, which is something that is also called a named color. It's used in the printing industry so that you give a specific name to that specific color so that it's meant to be stored with the name in a PDF or PostScript file, and it but it also does refer to the real world color reference because a printing company can buy or mix a special ink which will match exactly the color as specified by this reference. So each spot color requires a separate printing plate, which is expensive. So we should only use spot colors when absolutely necessary, as it might be in the case of a university logo or corporate logo. So we're going to go ahead and build the first color, the gold color, as a spot color. So if you note the numbers here, 20, 30, 100, 0, 20, 30, 100, 0. And the spot name is PMS 7752C. Now if we go back to Scribus, we can give the name the spot color, so PMS 7752C, and color model we're selecting is CMYK. We're going to indicate that this is a spot color, and we're going to put in our numbers here. So the first number is 20, the second number is 30, the third number is 100, and the fourth number stays as 0. So when we do that, we now click on OK, and we've got our color, PMS 7752C. And you notice it's got a red dot next to it. That red dot is telling me that that is a spot color. Alright, so now let's click on OK, and let's insert a shape. Let's just do a simple circle, and I'm going to properties, I'm going to color, and now you can see I can select my color that I've just added here, and that's the official gold color of West Virginia State University. Now, as an exercise, because you may want to use these colors in some of your future work, you may want to go ahead and add the black and the gray also as your um, as your additional colors. Now note again, CMYK is for printing. If you think that you're going to be doing some online work, then you would also want to build these colors in the RGB model. So again, you would go back to colors under edit, do new. Let's pick RGB, and I'm not going to do it as a spot color. So the RGB numbers, if we go back to our website, it's 207, 171, 43. So we put those in, 207, 171, and 43. And give it a name, WVSU Gold, and click on OK. Click on OK. And now if I go to colors, you see that I have another color called WVSU Gold, which is in the RGB format. Now, one of the things to take note of is that when you add colors to the color palette in a document, those colors are only available to that document. So how do I make these colors a permanent part of the default palette that opens when I open up a new document? To change the default color palette, we first have to close the document that we currently have open, and we have to then go to the color manager under edit colors. Now if I purchased a color set from a company, or I have one that I've received somehow, then I could import it by clicking on the import button, finding where it is on my hard drive, and then adding it. I don't have anything there, so let me just instead click on new. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add WVSU Gold, and I want to use it based on RGB, and I'm going to put in my numbers again, which were 207, 171, and 43, and then I click on OK. And now I can save color set, and I'm going to get prompted for a new name. So let's say Scribus Basic WVSU, and I click on OK, click on OK, and now if I open up a new document and I insert a shape, and I want to add color to that shape, you see the WVSU Gold is now available without my having added it to the document. So if I exit out of here, then I go to my edit colors. You see the reason that worked is that my current color set is Scribus Basic WVSU. If I went back to Scribus Basic, then that would not, the gold would no longer be there. Now you also notice there are other already installed color sets that you could play with if you wanted to. Let's just pick one. I have no idea what this is. Galaxy Color Emotions, and click on OK. Now if I open a new document and I go to put color in a shape, let's see what happens. When I go to color, you see I've got different colors that were not in the basic. So You have multiple ways. You find a color set that you like, you can work with that, or you can build your own colors directly in the document, or if you want to build your own color set, you can do that as well by adding colors to a color set that without an open document. But what you cannot do is you cannot edit any of the color sets that come pre-installed with Scribus. So for example, if I go back to edit colors and I click on, see, I can't edit this. If I go to my color though, the one that I created, um, find it again. Scribus, Scribus Basic WVSU, and I click on that, and I can add additional colors to it. So let's put in the spot color, so PMS 7752C spot color, and those numbers were 20, 30, 100, and 0. Click on Save Color Set. It's going to bring up the one that I have. It allows me to edit it, and then I click OK. Then if I go back to my color set, Scribus Basic WVSU, you see that I now have both golds in there. So I can edit a color set that I create, but I cannot edit a color set that was pre-installed. And that's basically it for color management.